Good evening and welcome to the State of Business on Not Television. I'm Chamat Fernando. Let's have a look at the headlines. President meets with Indian private sector leaders in Davos, Switzerland. Foreign Minister Ali Sabri addressed the 19th summit of the Non-Aligned Movement. Now the news in detail. President Ranil Wickremesinghe has outlined short-term strategies for revitalizing the country's economy during discussion at the World Economic Forum. The president emphasized tourism promotion, agricultural modernization, and a focus on renewable energy as key areas for attracting new investments. The president said this at a panel discussion at the World Economic Forum titled Pulling Back from the Brink in Switzerland recently.
During the panel discussion, he addressed questions about Sri Lanka's economic outlook, debt relief negotiations, and measures to address budgetary challenges. President Wickremesinghe expressed optimism about Sri Lanka's economic performance, anticipating a 2% growth in this year's projections, reaching 4 to 5% in the next year. The president also acknowledged critical issues such as balancing payments and budgetary constraints. He outlined short-term strategies like utilizing the IMF to increase revenue, revamping revenue collection systems, and establishing a revenue authority to replace individual departments. The discussion further delved into complexities of managing populism and meeting public expectations while adhering to the conventional financial rules. President Wickremesinghe also stressed the need for governments to strike a balance between providing essential facilities and managing strict financial rules.
President Ranil Wickremesinghe met with top leaders of the Indian private sector in Davos, Switzerland, on the sidelines of the World Economic Forum. Organized by the Confederation of the Indian Industry, the meeting discussed ongoing and proposed projects unveiling Sri Lanka's economic vision.
President Wickremesinghe's meeting with the Indian private sector, facilitated by the CII, focused on expanding economic collaborations and attracting investments to Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka is actively pursuing trade agreements with a recently completed comprehensive free trade agreement with Singapore and an upcoming FTA with Thailand. The president welcomed private investments, particularly in infrastructure development and divestment of state-owned enterprises. Lucrative opportunities were highlighted in key sectors such as telecommunications and financial services. The discussion also covered opportunities in supply chain efficiency, healthcare, consumer products, telecom, and clean energy.
President Ranil Wickremesinghe urged collaboration from development partners, the private sector, and the international finance community to support climate prosperity plans. Speaking at a roundtable organized by the Climate Vulnerable Forum in Switzerland, he emphasized the need for joint efforts to tackle climate challenges.
The president expressed his commitment to advancing investments in climate prosperity plans, including the development of investors' sheets for finance mobilization. These plans aim to address the deep inequities faced by vulnerable developing nations in the global south. The president highlighted Sri Lanka's provocative response with the launch of the Tropical Belt Initiative at COP28 in Dubai. This initiative aims to attract private funds for the sustainability of critical climate resources in tropical regions, including forests, mangroves, oceans, and renewable energy. The president outlined that Sri Lanka aims to become a net energy exporter by 2025, with renewable energy production surpassing 100% of domestic power needs by 2040. Key projects within the Climate Prosperity Plan include low carbon and productive agriculture initiatives, alongside offshore wind projects with local manufacturing. The president emphasized the inclusive impact of these investments, integrating rural agricultural economies and local manufacturing value chains.
Stay tuned, we will return after this commercial break. Welcome back. Foreign Minister Ali Sabri stressed the crucial role of the non-aligned movement in global affairs, especially for the nations of the global south. Foreign Minister Ali Sabri said this delivering an address at the ministerial meeting of the 19th summit of the non-aligned movement currently underway in Kampala, Uganda.
Speaking under the theme Deepening Cooperation for Shared Global Affluence, he emphasized that non-alignment remains the cornerstone of Sri Lanka's foreign policy. The Republic of Uganda assumed the chairmanship of the summit, recalling the historic ties between Sri Lanka and the NAM as a founding member. Minister Sabri urged member states to unite in the face of challenges to the movement's principles, emphasizing the importance of solidarity. The ministerial meeting also saw bilateral discussions between Foreign Minister Sabri and counterparts from Uganda, Pakistan and Algeria. The NAM, consisting of 120 member states, operates based on the Bandung principles, striving to advance the interests of developing countries.
The Speaker of the Parliament of Sri Lanka, Mahindrayapa Abeyewardene, met with his counterpart, the Speaker of the Maldivian Parliament, Mohammad Aslam, during an official visit to Sri Lanka. The meeting held on January 16 brought together a parliamentary delegation from the Maldives led by Speaker Mohammad Aslam.
The delegation included Maldivian MPs and officials, while the Acting Secretary General of the Parliament of Sri Lanka, Chaminda Kulratne, was also in attendance. Speaker Abeyewardene emphasized the commitment to strengthening this relationship, especially among the people of the two nations. In response, Mohammad Aslam highlighted Sri Lanka's contributions to the Maldives, including facilities in education and health. Noting active Sri Lankan companies in the Maldives, Speaker Aslam expressed a desire to maintain a close relationship between the parliaments of the two countries. The discussions also delved into the parliamentary committee system and legislative process of both nations, fostering a deeper understanding between the two parties.
The Committee on Public Accounts expressed strong displeasure over the lack of proper punishment for some of the officials involved in misconduct and corruption irregularities. The committee instructed the Ministry of Women, Children Affairs and Social Empowerment to reinvestigate the incident and take prompt disciplinary action. This was mentioned during a meeting chaired by State Minister Lasantha Alagiyawanna in Parliament recently.
COPA also directed the department to prepare a program to protect and address the concerns of unsatisfied beneficiaries. Additionally, the progress of computerization of the Samruddhi Bank system was examined, and officials were instructed to bring all banks onto a single operating system. The committee received information that 1,089 Samruddhi banks are currently networked, but further measures were recommended to ensure full computerization. The approval for new staff in the Samruddhi Development Department was noted, and the timely hiring of new employees were recommended to address staff-related issues.
Stay tuned for the stock update. Trading at Colombo Stock Exchange ended on negative notes today. The all-share price index dropped 19.41 points to close at 10,460.88, and the S&P SL 20 dropped 16.83 points to close at 2,957.2. The turnover was 0.4 billion rupees and over 21 million shares were traded. Up next are Forex rates. That's all our news for today. For this and more, subscribe our channel on YouTube, follow us on Facebook. Take care.